Hi everyone, Kitsap Sun reporter Nathan Pilling here, bringing you this week's edition of the Bremerton Beat Blast, sponsored by the Admiral Theater. Once again, we're taking the Beat Blast on the road, and this week I am across the Agate Pass Bridge on Bainbridge Island. There are plenty of hidden gems like Frog Rock here on Bainbridge, and today I'm going to show you a few of them. How many? 5. That's right, 5 hidden gems on Bainbridge Island that you just have to see. Stick around. Alright, our first stop here on Bainbridge Island is also on the north end. We're headed to Bloedel Reserve. Bloedel is a 150-acre forest garden. I stopped by and had a chat with Bloedel's executive director, Ed Moydell, about what makes that place special.
So the Bloedel Reserve is a 150-acre public garden and forest preserve. One thing that is very different about the Bloedel Reserve is that it's all about being immersed in the landscape. This isn't a botanical garden, it's not an arboretum, even though it has some similarities with those, but it's all about different landscape experiments, and it's all about what you feel like when you're immersed in the landscape. Our founder, Prentice Bloedel, was an early conservationist and an early advocate of the health and wellness benefits of nature, and this 150-acre space really explores that through a series of interwoven landscapes. The thing that I enjoy the most about taking a walk through the space is that it's literally different every single day, and it's different at different times throughout the day. I just took a walk right at the end of work after kind of just a long day. And it was as the sun was going down, and the reflection on the water in the reflection pool was something that just cleared my head totally. If I would have taken that walk in the morning, it would have been completely different, and in the day it would have been different. So for me, it's the dynamics of it, and that I just feel better when I walk around here.
Our next stop is here at Owen's Playground in Winslow. This unique part of Rotary Park opened in 2016 as a play space for kids of all abilities. The park is dedicated to the memory of Owen Marshall, a Bainbridge boy who in 2013 died from complications related to cerebral palsy. Owen's parents, Kelsey and Stacy, knew how difficult it can be to find play areas that are accessible and fun for kids with disabilities. And so they kicked off an effort to build that kind of a playground in Owen's memory. The community jumped in and raised funds for the project and eventually created what you see here today. There's plenty of flat space, swings, and other areas for all kids to enjoy. For more information, head over to owensplayground.org. Our next stop is here at the Barn, the Bainbridge Artisan Resource Network. This is a space for creatives. Inside, there's studio space for a variety of creative endeavors, ranging from podcasting to cooking and baking, to fiber arts, to woodworking, to metalworking. There's something in here for just about everyone. All right, come on, let's take a look.
So our mission is about bringing community together around being creative. And there's a lot of different ways to be creative in this place. I like, as you said, we have many, many people coming from throughout the Puget Sound region, especially Kitsap County and Seattle, attending classes, getting involved in projects in the open studio times, or just getting involved as volunteers. We welcome memberships from anywhere. Most people start out just trying a class or two before they join as members. And then once they get engaged and realize, yeah, this is something I'm going to keep doing, then they sign up for membership. So very, very few events are only for members, but many events and classes are less expensive for members.
The next stop on our trip to Bainbridge Island takes us to the south end, to Blakely Harbor Park. The most striking feature of this place is the large concrete building that sits right in the middle of the park. That building once served as an electric power generation site that served the sawmilling industry that once dominated this place. Blakely Harbor was once home to a bustling lumber mill after Captain William Renton purchased land around the harbor in 1864. A mill was established and industry flourished here. The mill became at one point the world's largest sawmill under one roof. Tall ships crowded into the harbor waiting for lumber, bound for destinations around the world. Eventually, the mill closed in 1923 and all its buildings were torn down, leaving this quiet harbor behind. Today, there are a few reminders of that time remaining. In the water, there are still a few pilings that once supported a dock here, and nearby the power generator building sits quietly on the water. Today, it stands mostly as a large canvas for graffiti, a backdrop for senior pictures, and the scene of your next Instagram shoot. The Bainbridge Island Park District, which owns this site, has continued to work here to improve this area, and a network of trails runs through the property. On a nice day, the park offers a beautiful view out onto Puget Sound and over into Seattle. The Park District doesn't have any immediate plans for the old generator building, but long-term, we might see some interpretive signage that goes up to remind us of the site's history. The last stop on our trip, also on the south end of Bainbridge Island, is here at Fort Ward. Established in 1890, the fort served as a quiet protector to the naval shipyards in Bremerton. A minefield once floated in rich passage, and tons of concrete were brought in for gun batteries that you can still see and climb on today. During World War II, the Navy opened a radio school to train communications personnel here, a cover for a top-secret radio monitoring station. After the war, the Navy abandoned the site, and it eventually became a state park and then later a local park. It's been years since this area operated as a military installation, but still today, a walk around the community shows the fort's influence in the area. Old fort buildings still sit amongst modern homes. You can walk on the old parade grounds, and down in the lower area of the park, which is owned and operated by the Bainbridge Park District, you can climb atop gun batteries that once protected this area. Today, the park still has plenty to offer, including views of rich passage, an underwater park for scuba divers, a boat launch, picnic areas, and trails that wind through the site. And finally, what's on tap for the weekend ahead, sponsored by Silver City Brewery Tap Room. Bloedel Reserve, which we visited earlier in this episode, is turning 30 years old. Bloedel next weekend will host a Founders Weekend celebration, October 20 and 21, to commemorate when Prentice and Virginia Bloedel opened their 150-acre estate to the public as a community garden and a public space. There'll be tours of the site, music, and plenty of other events to commemorate the weekend. For more information, head to the website on the screen. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Bremerton Beat Blast. Hope you enjoyed this trip to Bainbridge Island.